Humanity is experiencing an evolutionary crisis. One single and sincere look at the present world situation is enough to convince anybody that it has reached a point of no return. All governments are corrupt. The money system serves only the rich. Values and ethics are crumbling. War, murder, and rape haunt our lives. The basic structure of society is collapsing, starting with family life. Time is accelerating and carries in its wake never-ending and planet-wide catastrophes. Earth and its inhabitants are expressing perpetual suffering and abysmal despair. Many are already anticipating the end of the human species. Humanity is heading to a monumental dead end. Everywhere, people are talking about crises: financial, political, social, ethical, climactic, environmental, etc. In fact, it is none of these. In reality, it is an evolutionary crisis. Instead of fighting this process, reverting to outdated practices, holding on to useless assets, or waiting for a promised savior, why not make a 180-degree turn in the other direction? Let's stop repeating our obsolete ways, which can only bring more suffering. It is time to dream about the next step, the new Idessic species, and modify our actions to facilitate its imminent birth. Our destiny is in our own hands. If we choose to, we can create paradise on Earth. We are witnessing never-ending planet-wide catastrophes. Eastern Central Europe was hit with extreme flooding, destroying infrastructure in 4 countries: Romania, Poland, the Czech Republic, and Austria. Thousands have been displaced, including people in Hungary and Slovakia. These catastrophes are happening everywhere on the planet, and the human mind can't keep up with all these extreme events. The way the typical human mind will attempt to deal with this never-ending crisis is by ignoring it, because so far, I'm okay. Extreme weather cycles have affected planet Earth over the millennia. Earth is now entering another grand solar minimum, but the authorities will never admit this fact. This is the super grand solar minimum highway. Between 2020 and 2024, the world has been waking up to the fact that soon there will be not enough food. Professor Valentina Zarkova predicted global lack of food between 2025 and 2035. Recently, my soul pushed me with extreme intensity, and therefore I had to listen to her. I faced my greatest fear. I left my family and the world of illusion. The only way forward is to get out of the illusion, out of the triangle of hell. I must remember who I am, and then understand what the hell I'm doing here on Earth. I include the links to my video, I'm Out of the Matrix. Right after the European catastrophe, the southeastern US was absolutely devastated, especially North Carolina. I'm bringing to your attention the fact that evil is manipulating the weather in order to maintain its control over humanity. Therefore, on top of natural extremes, we get to experience climate engineering. For more information on this topic, please go to geoengineeringwatch.org. Hurricane Helene and frequency transmissions. Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org describes circular blue flashes seen in a video, which are claimed to be frequency transmissions from the NEXRAD network. These transmissions, according to the speaker, can repel air masses, particularly those containing electrically conductive nanoparticles. The intensity of the blue flashes indicates the strength of the repelling effect on nearby storms or air masses. If there are no blue flashes, no repelling effect occurs, allowing storms to migrate in that direction. Quotes by Dave Wigington. The climate engineering insanity is nothing short of weather warfare. We are literally living in a climate engineering chemical experiment, and the consequences are becoming catastrophic. Global climate engineering operations are the single greatest threat to the Earth's remaining life support systems. Pictures can never capture the suffering energy of the catastrophe. But that is all we have to share this tragedy. Over the years, I have tried to imagine what collapse will look like. Even after seeing many of the images and videos, I cannot comprehend the insane suffering which is unfolding. This picture represents so beautifully divine perfection. The dogs are leading the cattle out of the flooding. These next two pictures beautifully capture the grand solar minimum, snow in Africa. The giraffe does not know what to do with this novelty. With this picture, I would like to remind the viewer of the weather warfare which occurred last year in Maui. The plan for all these areas are the 15-minute cities, the smart cities. It's called a smart city because if they called it a concentration camp, you might not want to live there. Finally, the cherry on top is the port strike of all the major eastern and southern U.S. ports. To my surprise, the port strike was over in 3 days. This strike would have completely crippled the entire United States had it lasted more than 1 week. Again, I repeat myself. The human mind cannot comprehend or process any of this information. What will happen now? The people in the flooded states are without electricity, water, or food. The roads, bridges, and some train tracks are destroyed. There is no way in or out of the affected areas. Specifically, North Carolina will be without power for weeks. Almost all roads are destroyed, and most will never be rebuilt. What a perfect setup. Today, I'm starting with booklet number 1 of Personocratia, Evolution Towards the New Species. The first booklet was published in French and English in 2008 and in Spanish in 2009. Ghis updated this booklet in 2020, but only in French. In order to share this latest information, I will be translating the 2020 French version into English and Spanish. When a similar page is available in the original version, I will include a screenshot of that page as well as the translated 2020 version. Please share this information with awakening individuals. Introduction. Today, humanity is in turmoil. Established systems disintegrate. Dearly snatched achievements fly away. The rich-poor chasm widens. Revolts, insurrections, revolutions follow one another, in countries one after the other, and everywhere at the same time. Everywhere, people are talking about crises, financial, political, social, ethical, climactic, environmental, etc. In fact, it is none of these. In reality, it is an evolutionary crisis. It's not the first. Will it be the last? This is the way in which evolution has been behaving for billions of years. In all cases, the process is the same. An isolated individual and then a few others, suffocating in an intolerable situation, begin to behave differently. Their new way of being is disturbing the majority, which excludes them, fights them, and even eliminates them. War starts. Until the situation becomes obvious to a certain number, and they join the group. The critical mass is reached, and the whole group makes the evolutionary jump. Thus, the rains succeeded one after another. Mineral, rock; vegetable, plant; animal, non-thinking; human, thinking animal. And now, the reign of the conscious human, the Idessic reign, begins. How does it differ from the previous ones? In the past, evolutionary leaps have occurred without the species knowing what was going on. Now we're living the leap in knowledge and consciousness. Humanity is a transition between animality and idessity. Let's take the fish who experienced the lack of water. He struggled with all his might, and then his branchies formed into lungs. He had become an amphibian, but he remained unconscious of what happened to him. On the other hand, today, the evolutionary leap is experienced otherwise. A few awakened human beings remember their true nature, unlimited idessa. They are aware of the reason for their arrival on Earth, their transformation into a new species, and the establishment of the Idessic reign on Earth. We finally discover that life has a meaning, despite its blatant absurdity. Could the apparent evolving mess be used to force the human species to discover idessitude? Let us rejoice. Let us celebrate the end of human suffering, as well as the beginning of paradise on earth without death. Idessa, name of the Supreme Being, the creative spirit of the universe, inherent in everything that exists. Idessity, all qualities specific to the Idessic being, the Idessic reign. Idessic, adjective of Idessa, fusion of God and Goddess. Idessitude, state of the new way of being on earth. Infinite love. From millennium slavery to individual sovereignty. In the Orient, in the 20th century, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother discovered and anchored truth consciousness, the supramental consciousness in the earthly atmosphere. Once well anchored, the new consciousness was ready to move on to the next stage, its popularization and propagation. In the West, in the 21st century emerged Personocratia, the power of the sovereign person to govern oneself. Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga goes beyond individual liberation and undertakes collective transformation on earth. After the death of Sri Aurobindo, the Mother continued their work, and on February 29, 1956, the supramental consciousness was definitely anchored on earth. One single and sincere look at the present world situation is enough to convince anybody that it has reached a point of no return. Humanity is heading towards a monumental dead end. Let's stop repeating our obsolete ways, which can only bring more suffering. Personocratia continues the diffusion of truth consciousness in the West. substantial unity replaces the guru-disciple separation. Let us all spread the contagion of love. I'm out of the game. Like Truman in The Truman Show, I have taken my bow and left a world of illusion, this computer simulation to which I have given authority to manage my life. I leave the theater, where I have played time and time again the roles of disciple, daughter, parent, dentist, entrepreneur, citizen. Today, I devote myself fully and without limits to spreading individual sovereignty, the truth consciousness that I have been experiencing since 2002. Infinite love.